Oh my goodness, I've been muted the entire time. Um, my name is Salome Valencia. Oh, you can't hear me? Joni says there is no audio. Hmm. Can anyone else hear me or is that a no? Ah, okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Tar. Sorry about that. I will start again. My name is Salome Valencia Bonet. This is my daughter Melina, and we are here to welcome Sidney Helsten. She is a senior volunteer recruiter with the American Red Cross Northwest Region. She works to build partnerships, raise awareness, and connect members of the community to volunteer opportunities at the Red Cross. She's been with the Red Cross for 3 years. Before her current role, she served as an AmeriCorps member with the Red Cross, service to the Armed Forces Department. She is currently pursuing her MS degree in Human Resource Development at Villanova University. I'm going to pass it on over to her and she'll be able to introduce her co-presenter. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Thank you for the warm welcome. So I do want to start off with just some background information on the Red Cross and really thanking you for your time today. So first off, I'm just going to be sharing my screen real quick. Okay, perfect. So I really want to give everyone some background information first on our services here at the Red Cross. She did a wonderful job introducing myself. So I am within the volunteer services here at the Red Cross. I've been with them for about 3.5 years. And particularly what I want to share with you all today is a program we have. It's very dear to my heart, is our Service to the Armed Forces program. Specifically, what we do is we support our military community. A lot of that has to do with active military members, their families and dependents, and one of which that really applies to what you all do in your profession is building our resiliency program. And I just want to thank you again for, really taking the time today out of your busy schedule to come here and attend this lunch and learn with us. And I know, just for awareness, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties getting my co-presenter on this call. And she is our mental health professional that will be presenting later on in the meeting. So Salome, let me know if you can help get her in, okay? I was trying to talk to her all before this, helping her through the Zoom link. So just let me know, but we'll try to get everyone on the call so we can have her present. All right. And then what I really want to dive deeper into is specifically kind of our agenda. So feel free, I see we already have some people utilizing the chat box. Thank you for that. And really feel free to utilize that chat box throughout this presentation. If you end up having any sort of questions or anything like that, I probably won't be able to pay particular notice into the chat box until the end of the presentation. But if you have questions that arise during it, feel free to let me know. And then we will do our best to answer these questions at the end. So drop them in chat. And also really feel free to go off mute anytime if you have questions. We want to make this as interactive as possible. And so our agenda today is really to go over the Red Cross overview a bit, our resiliency workshop overview, and then our guided reconnection and mind-body activities. And then of course, time for Q&A. So first off, I want to share with you that we have resiliency programs that offer kind of 3 distinct programs. And I'm going to go into detail on each of these. One of them is helping with psychological first aid. Another one is helping with reconnection, which I'll go into more detail on that. Another one is mind-body workshops. And you're going to see a few examples of this. And really all of those 3, they're different, but it's aiming to help participants build their resiliency skills in the stressors that a lot of times the military life can happen through deployments and being away from family and etc. So to start off with, most people, you probably heard of the American Red Cross before, but most people have not heard of maybe all the extent of what we do, or they're maybe not familiar with everything that we do around the world, within your country, within your community, what we kind of call like right down the street. So more background, we are the largest humanitarian organization in the world. We have representation in 192 countries. And with that being said, with any great cause, it also starts with a mission. So with that mission, I'd really like to share that with you. That is the American Red Cross prevents and alleviates human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of our volunteers and through the generosity of donors. And something that I'm really proud of is, and you're going to hear more about this, but like these are the words that we live by each and every day. And these are the words that drive our services to the community and our work. A little bit more about myself is that I did start my journey with the American Red Cross as an AmeriCorps member. If you don't know what that is, it's sort of like the Peace Corps, but specifically we help support. You kind of get set up with like a nonprofit or a government agency. And I had the privilege of getting connected with the local American Red Cross chapter that I served out of. And so I specifically served within our Service to the Armed Forces program. So I had a lot of work helping coordinate what we're going to be talking about is our resiliency program. So I worked closely with our disaster mental health volunteers, our resiliency facilitators, who are all licensed mental health professionals. And I helped coordinate these workshops that we provide to the community to, a lot of times it would be, for example, like a military spouse retreat or at a yellow ribbon or something like that, to get them involved and to also build specific resiliency skills for that said community. So I'm going to dive deeper into kind of talking more about what our program does and, the different things that we offer for the community. So this, like I said before, these programs are specific for the military plus community. And these are the 3 different programs. And like I said, the psychological first aid is really to help with what we call coping with deployments. And then the reconnection, and then the mind body. So it's really to help build all of those different resiliency skills. And for more information on what this is, the psychological first aid part, we actually offer a lot of different variety to these programs. And we really take into account that specific group that we're going to be offering a program for. And then we talk to them specifically about what out of the different things that we can offer, what are they going to benefit by the most? So if it's a group that has been recently deployed, we probably want to gear towards our workshop for something like that. So specifically, we help build resilience, and we also help with a class we have called Using Psychological First Aid, Building Resiliency in Military Children. So that's something unique too, is that we do have classes in particular for military dependents, for all the things they're going through for a parent or parents who have been deployed. And this really is teaching concrete ways to, like it says, support the personal self as well as their family, but really building the community as well through all the challenges of deployments. And like I said, we'll go into this a little bit more, but this is through mental health professionals who lead this. And this is a lot for like what we call classroom style learning. Some of them are more like lecture based, but the majority of ours is really like small groups, interactive, and a lot of participation led. And so typically we have, like this is good for small or large groups. We've had up to even 50 to 100 people if they have a big presentation that they would like us to participate in. And this is another one that I want to chat with you about, which is our reconnection workshops. So this is a very discussion focused type of work. In my next kind of point, I'm going to go into each topic and kind of what that entails. But this is really building like hands-on activities for those to build reconnection. We've had to pivot as well during COVID environments. Many of you are probably aware, and been able to deliver these virtually as well, but it has such a meaning to do it in person. It really has a greater impact. And like I said, it is a very like using it through peer community, through conversation. So it's really to build that relationship in their peer groups as well. And so these are the different topics within reconnection workshops for adults. So this is where I kind of go back to explaining that we want to make sure that we deliver the best type of work for that specific group. And these are all different things that I want you to be aware of that I'm sure can benefit your day-to-day work in the hospital as a social worker. And these are different ways, you know, if we think that they could benefit through some effective communication, or another popular one is diffusing anger workshops, emotional grit, and then caregivers. That was one that I particularly helped at, where it was a military spouse retreat, specifically those who have been caregivers for their spouse who have been injured, a military veteran who's been injured in war, and then their spouse is now a caregiver. So we've been able to aid with our partners who provide these free retreats, and then we provide a mental health professional at those retreats. Okay, and then this is more in detail about our reconnection workshops for children, teens, and family members. So this is specifically for, we have like a lot of different age groups that we have the different materials for, of course. So for children that are young, like ages 5 to 8, we always have them with one of like a parent or an adult. And it really is to help them with proper, you know, working through their emotions with communication and what that means and how to build that. And then ways to help them with like coping through struggles that they might not totally be aware of, but that they are dealing with when their, you know, parent is deployed. And then we also have ones particularly more for teens as well, through that can be pivoted for family lunch and learn, or laugh and learn rather, and then helping with calm and connected for the teenagers as well. And so we do a lot of work on base as well. So for the military spouse groups and their dependents, we do a lot of workshops region-wide as well as nationally as well, though. And then I do want to go into our mind-body program as well. So this is really to encourage the practice of mind-body techniques and what, you know, what is, I'll go into this a little bit more, but like what is good stress, and really connecting them more to their mind and their body, and really having that like overview discussion. A lot of it has to do with like different like breathing exercise, guided meditation, things like that. But this is another one that we do as like more of a classroom. And it can also be in large discussion, or even maybe role play, like through different kind of, a lot of times different kind of music or visual things like that, when we have like guided meditation and thinking of it that way. A lot of times this is people's first times even doing anything like that. So they are very like a beginner in any sort of mind-body activity. They may have never tried to, you know, meditate before, or go through any of those kind of breathing exercises, or even journaling. So these are really like teaching basic skills for them to hopefully bring back to their day-to-day life, so that at least they know those skills are there. And This is another one that is great for what we call like self-exploration and individual connection for stress management. And of course, we always like to leave time at the end to really encourage reflection, encourage, which activities and techniques do they really like? Which ones do they think they're going to bring back to their day-to-day world, or maybe share with a loved one that they enjoyed? Not every technique is going to mean something for everyone. So that's why we really try to provide a variety of at least maybe 3 different types of techniques per workshop to hopefully at least one of those meet someone's, preference on what they like and enjoy. Okay, and then going straight into more about the mind body overview and what this is. Like I said, it's to help with teaching them, that not necessarily all stress is bad. There is such a thing as good stress. It's kind of how you harness it, but also how do they manage and even are noticing what types of stress do they have in their life that is indeed unhealthy. Well, what kind of things are chronic stress in their lives and how to cope with that. I always like to ask people, what do you consider is mind body? What do we kind of think that is? So I'm going to open up a question to the audience, and feel free to go off mute. But how can you explain what we mean by the mind-body connection? And if you just want to put it in chat, that's okay too. But yeah, my question is, how can you explain what we mean by the mind-body connection? Okay, no problem. It's okay if no one wants to participate now, but I hope you participate later. But we do have kind of different demonstrations we often use, such as using for example, like an imagery exercise. So we have participants maybe think about, for example, like a lemon. Have them describe a lemon, have them describe its texture, its color, and then have them specifically cut open part of the lemon, smell the juices, and then we have them, taste the lemon. Then we specifically ask, what parts of their bodies had a reaction through tasting that lemon, and using that all through imagery alone. So it's all kind of guided thought. So that's one specific example of a type of exercise that a lot of times they do enjoy that. But like I said, it's really what it is. It's connecting their body with their minds, as you all probably know, but it's practicing living mindfully rather than being on autopilot. Like a lot of people are, that is kind of the go back to way of living a lot of times, is being on autopilot. So how can we teach them to go and live mindfully, at least to attempt to, and learn really to teach them and learn easier skills to improve the whole body wellness aspect. Okay, so these are specific mind-body topics. This is including the mind-body skills module that we teach, that I'm sure many of you are very familiar with, but to help with breathing, help with basic mindfulness, help with stretching and movements, body awareness through, body training. Even I've been a part of a few when I helped coordinate these workshops, helping where we would go through and just mindfully even just go on a short walk throughout the outside garden area, or out in if it's in an office, kind of throughout the the different kind of like break stations, things like that, and just really taking the time to breathe while you're walking and not really focus on many other things. And so these are all different examples that we use through the mind-body topic. Okay, and then this is more information on what it takes to become what we call resiliency facilitator. And so, like I mentioned, but all of our resiliency facilitators are active state-sponsored mental health professionals. They have state licensure, and they must hold a master's degree or higher in a mental health field. So they don't have to already have previous, military experience, like working with the military already to join us. That I notice tends to be the norm, though, is typically people who have already worked with the military, already passionate about this kind of work, and then join us. But we've also had many facilitators who do not. They're just very passionate about helping their community and building resilience. And this is just a wonderful program that we do offer. And as you probably have guessed, we do have training, of course. And so this is provided to all of our program volunteers or mental health professionals to really understand the overview, but really the type of structure that we have for this. This content is very structured. It's very, we want to keep it consistent every time we deliver this to the community. And so we do offer in-person training. Actually, our next training is going to be in Portland, Oregon. It's set to be in person at our Red Cross office in Portland. If anyone we'll talk more about this towards the end, but if people are ever interested in potentially learning more about this or joining, the next training is on May 7th, so in a couple months, and all travel there gets taken care of, kind of thing. So I don't want that to be a hindrance on not wanting to join. But yeah, so next training is May 7th in Portland, Oregon. So you might want to just jot that down if you're somewhat interested in becoming a facilitator potentially. And then this is just our commitment to our communities. Our facilitators, we really take pride in having them be more of an, long-term, ongoing volunteer. A lot of them are also, full-time mental health professionals as well. Some are retired, but whatever they can do is wonderful. We do usually ask for at least a commitment of working for 2 workshops a year. And one workshop typically is about 90 minutes long, but of course, the time of preparation and the travel time adds to that total. Okay, so our workshop audience, and I did address this, but our workshop audience is active duty service members. So it can also be retired veterans. It can also be people who are in the reserves. And then what I really like to call this, though, I didn't put this in here, but we call it the military plus community. So it's not just active military members or veterans. It's also their family members. It's also their dependents. And it's also all of those who are their caregivers. So really anyone who's directly in the military or veteran community, this is what these are offered for. And, there are other avenues for mental health resiliency workshops for the military community. There are other things out there that are on base, that are structured through the military. And so we like to kind of add, why maybe what we do is a little different, meeting a need that's not already existing, to already help. So we have very different levels of confidentiality, and ours is unique because we include the families and the non-dependents, so not just the active service member. And this isn't intended to be therapy. It's intended to be more of a facilitation of building resiliency skills. It's a one-time typically 90-minute course. It's not therapy, and there is no requirement for people to commit to more than one of these. It's optional. This is standardized, but yet, like we said, it's very adaptable to the community and what they specifically need and what kind of things they need to build on. And we offer these at no cost to the community. And it's for small groups, usually groups of about, I would say maybe about 10 to 15 people. And it is a lot of discussion and action focus. So a little, not like what I'm doing right now, like presentation. It's not supposed to be a presentation when we deliver these. It's more of a discussion in a group facilitation. So our facilitators are not up there just teaching, right? They're facilitating a discussion. Okay, and then I know we're wrapping up pretty soon to go into in the next couple of minutes, go into some sample activities. Salome, have we been able to get Carol on at all? Have you been able to reach her?
I've been communicating with her, but she's just not able to log on via Eventbrite. She said that she was able to register ahead of time. I did try to log into the system to see if I could register her. It's not working. And so more than likely what we're going to have to do is you're going to have to put her on speaker, and she's going to have to, over phone, and you'll just allow her to use her system.
Yeah, no, that actually works perfectly. Okay, perfect. We will plan on that. Well, thank you for trying. Thank you everyone for being patient. Technical difficulties are always, it happens more often than not for me, I feel like, but thank you everyone for being patient. Okay, so last thing before we jump into the sample activities is our workshop length is about 60 minutes to 90 minutes long. And like I said, we have audience for adults as well as children. And then our locations that we help with is at military installations, our partner sites, VA hospitals, and community events, Red Cross buildings, and help virtually. So there's a lot of room there. Okay, and everyone bear with me. I'm just going to connect our wonderful resiliency facilitator to the call soon. So 1 second.
I'm just going to take this time to gently remind you, if you'd like to have CEUs for today, please complete the forms in the chat box. You're more than welcome to send me a message if you run into any issues or if you need support with the forms. But just a gentle reminder, if you'd like CEUs, please complete the forms in the chat box. Thank you.
All right, hi everyone. All right, so I have the wonderful Carol Wilson on the call. So she is our disaster mental health coordinator in King County, and she is also our wonderful resiliency facilitator through our Service Armed Forces program, and she's going to lead you through a couple sample activities. So first things first is kind of going through the introduction. So Carol, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, great. Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for spending your lunchtime with us. I'm sorry that I couldn't get in, but I'm hoping that this will work out really well on the phone. So just a little bit more on my background. I have a master's degree in nursing, and most of the 37 years of my practice I spent as a psychiatric nurse working with veterans and their families. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I just want to say that we know that groups are more powerful when we all participate. So while I'm doing the activities, I'm hoping that you will unmute your mics and ask questions and volunteer to share thoughts and experiences. So I'm going to depend on Sidney to kind of maybe take a look at part of that, and I'm hoping I can hear you all. But there also will be a question and answer period at the end. So there's time for that too. I want to briefly talk about why it's important to pursue joy and an unhurried life, slowing down, enjoying spending time, and having positive thoughts of gratitude coming into your mind. And you know that these are a big benefit to you to feel better and for your mental health, but it's also very important for everyone around you. It has that ripple effect. And so the better you're doing, it's touching everyone. And the efforts that you put into it will positively impact your work and your family and your friends. So one of the reasons that I put work first is that a lot of the veterans and other clients that I see, in order to get them to buy in, and that means actually participating in the workshop and also practicing afterward when they get home, is the motivation to improve their career. It's really powerful and energizing. So, and of course, the benefits, if you do have success in your work area, you're probably going to get a higher salary and more free time. So that is also benefiting you, your family, and friends. So I would also like you to dispel the idea that you need to take a vacation or a day off in order to bring these things into your life, seeking joy and slowing down and getting, just more unhurried about the way you approach things, and also seeking gratitude. Encouraging you to bring that into your everyday life. So wherever you're at, you have time to do those things. The National Institutes of Health talk a lot about the benefits of just simply taking your breaks at work, which nurses are not known for, but they should be. And so you can reevaluate your goals, increase your productivity, help your mind refocus, lessen injuries, body aches and pain, reduce stress, boost your engagement with your work, and seek mental health when you need to seek help from your employee health program. So I'm sharing that with you because I think it's really important to, you can see that you can bring that into your everyday life, especially when you're taking those short breaks. One of the things that I was going to talk about is nursing, and I'm just giving you a really short synopsis of this. Nurses really can get into being task-oriented, just like really focused on labs and physical assessment and medications and what's next on their to-do list. And this is kind of It disconnects you from being in the present moment, and it keeps you from possibly using really good critical thinking. So my observation has been that really outstanding nurses take time to be in the present and to really see what's in front of them, see how the client's doing, and to make a verbal connection with them, just a brief chat, so that they can talk to the client about joy, and the client feels like they have time for them. And that also brings that into your life too. So one of the examples I had is, seeing a client with a bouquet of pink roses and just talking to them a little bit about that. And the client talks about gardening and how much they enjoy it. And you start thinking about how relaxing that is. And so you're sharing that moment. And you could say, it's a cliche, but you stop to smell the roses, because you're consciously directing your mind to be aware and attentive to the present moment, and to be able to experience and enjoy the world surrounding you. So Horace, the Roman poet, said, he proclaimed carpe diem, which literally means pluck the day, and encourage people to focus on the present and appreciate the value of every moment in life. Avoid postponing things unnecessarily, because life eventually comes to an end. So each of these quotes are meaningful, but before we move to the activities, I just want to end with one that veterans have told me they strongly resonate with. And so this has become my favorite. Joseph Campbell said, "Follow your bliss. You must let go of the life you have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for you. Find a place inside where there is joy, and the joy will burn out the pain." So now let's move to the activities. The first two activities that we're going to do are emotional grit. They're from Emotional Grit, which is part of our reconnection workshop. The first one is Pursuing Joy. So before we start this, I'd like you to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. And keep your feet on the floor and your back comfortably straight, your hands and arms relaxed, and start by inhaling slowly, deeply, bringing the breath into your belly, all the way down to your belly, and then hold, and now exhale slowly, letting all the air out, letting it all go, and then hold. And now breath number 2. Inhale slowly. Feel your belly rise, and hold, and exhale. Feel your belly flatten towards your spine, all the air out, and hold. And then one more time, inhale deeply, and hold, and then exhale all the air out, and pause, and let your breathing return to normal. And now take a few moments to think about these questions. How often do you have the time to surround yourself by others while doing things you enjoy? And the second one, if you could set aside a day or week to unplug, what would you do? try to identify 3 things that you would do. I would find enjoyment by, and I'll let you think about that for a few moments. And then I need a few volunteers to identify what you would do to pursue joy. You can share 1 or 2 or 3 examples. Can I get a couple volunteers?
I can volunteer.
Awesome.
I would want to sit at the beach with a coloring book and color.
That sounds great. I love the beach. And
Mhm.
really, that's very peaceful.
I
And
can
there's lots
also,
of colors. Yes.
I was gonna say I can volunteer as well. I was also thinking the beach as well. I was thinking about going for a walk, feeling the sun on my face, and then looking for like seashells and looking for nature.
Yes. I agree. That's one of the things that I always find joy in is when I'm around nature, when I'm looking birds flying and maybe the river or the beach, listening to the sound of the water. Anyone else that has another example of what they'd find enjoyment with?
I will, Joni, spending time on our boat.
I'm sorry, Joni, I didn't hear the whole part.
Spending time on our boat.
Oh, your boat. Oh, yes, we have another one with the water. Yeah, it's very relaxing. There's something about water. Very peaceful. And exhilarating, too, in a way. Especially if you're out, with, I like salt water. It's that smell and taste. Those are great examples. Okay. And is there something that you can think about? Do I have a volunteer that can think about how they could bring joy into, just a short period in your daily life?
Coloring?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, you could do that on a break, or you could do it. That's a period of time that you can decide how long you have to do. So that's a good one. Okay, so the next activity is practicing an unhurried life. Most of us hurry through the day, making each day a marathon, and I think that that's true for almost everyone. There's so many things to do. So we forget to look around and take in the simple things. So think about it for a little while and think about 3 things that you might be missing that you'd like to slow down and enjoy. And but just think about answering the question, I would like to slow down and enjoy. And it could be on a vacation, a day off, or in the evening, or it could be something that occurs during the day that you just like to take some more time to just enjoy it. Slow down and enjoy it a little bit. Are there some volunteers can identify some things they'd like to do.
I can volunteer. This is Tara. I was gonna say it would be great if I could get in an exercise or run more frequently during the week would be awesome. Or taking the time just to call a friend and to chat and not feel like, I only have, 10 minutes between like a pickup or drop off between my kids. So I would appreciate just like reconnecting with friends and having some exercise time or basically some time alone would be great.
Yes, that sounds like a good, those are really important things. It's rejuvenating to have that time to talk with friends and just feel like you're not under pressure or just slow down a little bit. And then you can enjoy whatever you're taking your kids to. You can enjoy it more, I think. Those are great examples. So when you think about those things, is there some way that that you can make that happen? Is there some way to eliminate any barriers or carve out some extra time that you've thought of?
Yeah, I think so. I think, playing with your schedule and maybe being flexible in when you have those opportunity times and taking advantage of that. So maybe I would prefer to run in the morning, but maybe that's not realistic. So maybe I would have to do a run in the afternoon, and then maybe I have a free time at the end of the day and just taking advantage of those. It may not be what I wanted specifically, but I think being more flexible would be helpful.
Sounds great. Yeah. I agree. It's interesting. I was presenting this to my husband just to, as a practice. And he was talking about one of the things that he'd like to slow down and enjoy was just enjoying sitting and having a cup of coffee in the morning and not having to do this and do that. So it can be very simple and yet so important. Is there someone else that can share another thing that they would like to slow down and enjoy?
The first thing that came to my mind was actually work. I feel like I'm always rushing. Yeah.
I had a little bit of a longer example, but did that sort of resonate with you, having when I was talking about you have all these pressures and you don't have time to slow down and make a connection as much as you'd like to? Does that kind of resonate?
Yeah.
Yeah. That example that I gave is an actual one from a client that I knew, and that was just when HIV was coming out, and he was sick, and it was a really good interaction. It was very short, but I was able to slow down enough to talk to him, and he knew what kind of rose. I mean, he had these pink roses, and he knew what kind of rose it was, Queen Elizabeth, and it was really a great connection for both of us, I think. I always remember it, and so I'm hoping that is there a way that you can slow things down enough to feel better, as far as your work goes, to have time to use critical thinking and have time to make that connection? Are there some ways to eliminate the barriers?
I think it's an ongoing process. of trying to do that. But yes, it's possible.
Good. I hope that you can, find those times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it really means a lot. And I do think that I think that they're right. The Institute of Health, I was reading some of the research, and I think they're really right. It gives you a chance to think more clearly, to see things, bigger picture. So it actually saves you time in the long run. Or at least that's what I always found. Okay. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about, this one, we're moving into, we talked about the pursuing joy and and practicing an unhurried life. And I wanted to end with activity from mind-body workshops in the mindfulness section. It's gratitude practice. And I'm hoping you can take a few moments now to think about 3 things in your life that you're grateful for. I am grateful for, and try to think about 3 things. If one thing pops up, that's fine. But if you can think of 3 things, that would be really great too. And I'd like to get some volunteers to share what they're grateful for, and maybe we'll see some commonalities in this. A lot of times we do in workshops. So does someone want to share what they're grateful for?
My daughter.
Sorry, say that again. I missed what you said. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Oh, she said my daughter.
Your daughter. Oh, yes, very important. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. How about someone else?
I can go. This is Tara again. I would say my family, my health, and my friends.
Oh, great. Okay. Those are 3 things that come up, probably at least 70%, I would say, of the workshops that I do. Family is very important. Health and friendships. I mean, the people that you're close to. Okay. Does somebody else want to share? Or maybe there's the things you're grateful for are some of those same things. It's certainly high on my list. Family, friends.
We have financial security in chat.
Yes, that's important too, because it allows you to have all those other, aspects for your life. That's really important. How about pets? Are there folks there that have pets they're real close to? That's one of the things that I always think about.
I am, Carol.
So we're getting close to the end. I just want to conclude with the gratitude practice, that this is, I think, a really important exercise, really important to think about. It's something that you can do during the day, anytime, when you're at a stoplight, when you have just a very quick break. You can just think about what you're grateful for, and it could be just one thing. So I always encourage folks that attend my workshops to establish a gratitude ritual. besides doing it, the quick exercise during the day, it's really important to have that ritual so that it will, you'll think more and more about all the things that you're thankful for. And I found that if you, when you first wake up in the morning, if you make it a ritual, before you get out of bed, first thing you think about is 3 things that you're thankful for. It really starts your day out well. And then before you go to sleep at night, when you lay down, thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for, it certainly improves my sleep. And I've heard from other folks that have been doing this that it does, that they sleep very well after that. And some people keep a journal at their bedside, and they write down the thoughts that they have when they first wake up and when they go to bed. And that's kind of nice to be able to see what you were thinking about a week ago or 6 months or a year ago. And so there are people that keep a journal. And I want to say that starting this practice will shift your mindset. You'll be aware of more things throughout the day. So the more you work on this ritual and doing it on a regular basis, the more of these thankful thoughts will occur to you throughout the day. And so what you're doing is you're changing the way you look at things. And then the things that you look at change. So it'll change the way you think and feel, and it enhances your life. I've heard from lots of folks that it's very beneficial, and it's been wonderful to me. So I hope that you will take some time to practice that. And I want to thank you for attending the workshop. There's a time now for questions. I'm sorry that I couldn't get on in person, but I hope that this was beneficial. So I want to open it up for questions from you. Do you have anything or any thoughts that you want to share? Anything that came up?
Feel free to put it in chat or go off mute.
I just wanted to thank the both of you for presenting today and teaching us some new skills, and for sharing more about the wonderful opportunities with the Red Cross.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for
Yes.
having us.
If you have any questions, I know Sydney put her information up and mine. So if you have questions about things that you want to talk about more with me, please feel free to call. So I'm also the disaster mental health lead for King County for disaster cycle services. So I have those 2 roles. So anyway, give me a call or email me if you want to have more information.
Absolutely. I have on the screen Carol's email and her number, as well as my email and my number. So feel free to reach out to either of us if you're interested in learning more about Carol's, journey with the Red Cross or what it's like in her roles. Feel free to reach out. Thank you, Carol, for being welcome to that. And reach out to me if you're interested in maybe joining us as well, or if you'd like to learn more about our application process or anything like that. I can help you through that. But yeah, feel free to take a screenshot of our contact information. You can always reach us down the road.
That's right.
All right, I think we're at time, so I'm going to stop sharing and give the mic back to Salome, or and wrap it up from here. But I'll stop sharing for now. All right.
With all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Great. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you all for attending today. If you'd like to receive CEUs for today's presentation, just feel free to complete the forms that are pasted into the chat box. And we look forward to seeing you next month for our next event. And thank you for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.